Hey everybody, Jim Gonzalez, EDI support. It's been quite some time since we've done one of these sessions. This is actually our first session of 2025. So Happy New Year. Hope everybody's having a great 2025 leading into this. It's a Wednesday. It's a little cold here in Pennsylvania. That wind has been kicking and the chill in the air. Things are not how we had hoped at this point. But, we're in February and hopefully time will go on and we'll get a little bit warmer. So today, what I want to talk about is let's talk about the top 5 costly EDI mistakes you can't afford to make. And these are mistakes that when we're talking and handling and working with different clients and looking at different systems and prospects and all of those things, these are the common mistakes that come up, but you really can't make them, or you should limit them as much as possible because they're going to essentially hurt your reputation. There could be chargebacks, there could be fines, there could be all of those things that can occur with having these things not handled appropriately. So the first thing that's on my list, and then this is of no certain order, is poor data quality and validation. So what do I mean by that? I always tell people and I always tell clients, hey, listen, if you have bad data being processed into your ERP, WMS, TMS, or coming out of your your different systems, let's just say that, that data quality is going to always be a part of the full stream. So what I mean by that is if we simply look at an order to cash process, which a lot of people do in the retail space, if you have a purchase order come in, it creates a sales order, and the data that's being processed onto the sales order is not clean, there's issues, and somebody has to go in and manually change, or somebody allows it to process through all the way through to the invoice, let's say, and you're sending that invoice back out, well, guess what? Bad data came in, it got processed onto the sales order, it's going to follow effect all the way to the invoice. So your shipment may have bad data, your purchase order acknowledgement may have bad data. All of those things along that trail is going to have bad data. So if you correct it on the front end or in the ERP, or if you correct it by reaching out to your trading partner and saying, hey, you're sending us the wrong SKU. Hey, this is the wrong UPC. Hey, that's the wrong pricing that we have set up with your account. Well, guess what? You're now correcting it so that when future purchase orders get processed in, it's going to be correct. You're not going to have user intervention or any of those type of things. So you want to correct that. Then on the back end, we want to also validate, or on the front end, we also want to validate. We want to make sure that, hey, the format of the EDI is correct. It matches the standards that we're expecting. Or, hey, we want to send our EDI data over to our trading partners, but we need to stop it if there's a validation issue so that it doesn't get to our trading partner, and then our trading partner has to acknowledge and tell us, hey, there's an issue with your data. It's not formatted correctly. UPC isn't a total of 12 characters or 12 digits like it's supposed to be. Or this is missing or that is missing, that's mandatory information. If you can stop that issue from happening, you're not causing an issue with your trading partners, and your trading partners are not getting upset because they're expecting you to stop that information from reaching them. Because guess what? They don't want to police and make sure that you are doing validations on it. And also, if you catch it on the front end, so say a purchase order comes in and that purchase order is not formatted exactly the way it should be. There's segments that are out of sequence or out of order, depending on the version that you're using. You might want to notify your trading partner through validation and say, hey, listen, your data is coming in, but it's not passing the 40-10 structure. So that can be a big issue. So here, we just got our first question. Of course, since we're brand new to 2025, I want to show this question. Have people not solved for this yet? Like, how many companies, I wonder, haven't synced up yet? Can you send me the list of these companies? So no, sorry, Mitchell, I can't send you the list of the companies. These companies reach out to us all the time saying about the data being incorrect and information being incorrect and validation not being handled. And a lot of different EDI providers that are out there, or what I call the wannabe EDI providers, don't do validation. Some do, some don't. Some don't check for inventory information. Some just translate the data and send it along. I've seen all kinds of different things over the 27 years. And so have a lot of my different team members. So making sure that data is correct, making sure that data is handled, making sure there's validations against the standards that you're utilizing, whether it's ANSI X12, EDIFACT, Tradecoms, VDA, or some type of XML, any of those type of things. So you want to make sure of that. But Mitchell, believe me, I'm out there and I want to find that list myself of those companies, because at EDI Support LLC, we want to try to make sure that those companies are taken care of, so that their scorecards aren't being affected, so that their business isn't being lost, and so they're not getting chargebacks and fines and validation and penalties. So we're right there with you, Mitchell. All right, so number 2 is poor EDI mapping and integration. Now, a lot of this comes down to people not mapping to the appropriate fields in their ERP, WMS, or TMS, or out from the appropriate fields. We've seen people not putting dates commonly in the right areas. So maybe you get a ship date or an expire date or a cancel date, and they're not included on the sales order. Well, how do you know how long that order is valid for, or when that order needs to ship out, or what price discrepancies are done on there? So if you're not taking care of these things through your integration or through your mapping, well, you're going to have processing delays. It's going to lead you to errors. You're going to have orders not being fulfilled. You're going to have claims that are being rejected if you're in healthcare. You're going to have these type of things occurring if you're integration, and you need people to human intervention to make sure that, hey, the right pricing was used. Well, what if somebody forgets to check the sales order? What if somebody doesn't do or is out sick and nobody knows to look? There's things that can happen. And the more you can limit human intervention in your process or in your business process, the easier you're going to make yourself. And that's really what EDI is. EDI is to automate your business process where you limit the interaction of humans. Okay? Because it's supposed to streamline things and speed things up. You should not have somebody going in and going, oh, well, let me look at these criterias and make sure that those things are fulfilled. Your integration should be handling that, or your ERP or your WMS or any of those type of things, because that's what you have those for, is to build out a proper business solution. So you want to make sure that that mapping's handled appropriately, making sure that conversions are handled, making sure that your dating is sequenced properly, all of those things. If you don't fix and perform regular EDI mapping audits and test your integration before going live with new trading partners, there's going to be issues. If you have software updates that are rolled out, if you have Windows updates, and you're not making sure that your product and your integrations and anything like that is not affected, well, it could be, especially if you have an EDI system that's on-prem. A lot of EDI systems that are on-prem or licensable, they run with utilizing Java. So if you do a Windows update and it happens to affect your Java, and that Java is not resourced inside of the product, meaning it's reliant on your Windows Java, well, guess what? Something could happen. Your communication could stop working. Maybe your mapping doesn't trigger or fire or execute. There's an issue. So these are things that are commonalities that we run across with integrations, poor EDI mapping. Ignoring, and I hit on this a little bit earlier, is ignoring EDI standards and compliance. So some EDI systems, and a lot of people don't know this, but some EDI systems that maybe your trade partners are utilizing are heavily structured to meet those specifications, to meet those validation criteria. So if you're using a homegrown system that doesn't have a validator into it, and it's not based, or it's based loosely on the EDI standards and data dictionaries and all of those things for for the X12, for EDIFACT, for Tradecoms, for even XML schemas, all of those things, and it just really just passes it through, it's going to get stopped at a lot of the trading partners. Now, some of the trading partners do have loose leaf systems that are not really when I say loose leafed, they have some of the validation, but then they customized it to allow for maybe a segment that they feel like, or a qualifier that they feel like, or a looping structure that they feel like, all of those things. So you have to be aware of those too. It's not only on your side, you might run into it on your trading partner side, where they're sending you data that really doesn't follow the standards. It's not inside of the compliance of X12, EDIFACT, Tradecoms, or any of those others. So you want to review it. You want to update your EDI system to make sure that you meet those trading partner requirements. Work with a true EDI partner, not just a vendor that stays on top of compliance and changes and updates and mappings and automatically, and handles the different communications standards and different communication protocols that your vendors and your suppliers are looking for too. I just talked to a company that is, here in the United States, North America. They're looking to venture their products into Europe, dealing in a lot of the different countries outside of the United States. And one of the things that I had brought up and I had mentioned to them is, hey, you have to make sure that your product now can do X12. Can it do EDIFACT? Your product now can do FTP. Can it do OFTP? There's different standards that are in compliance in different countries. Not that they can't be utilized in all countries, but different countries seem to have more reliancy on different standards. The US is more ANSI X12. Not saying all the time, but most of the time it's more ANSI X12. Outside of the US, you're going to run into EDIFACT. If you're dealing, in the European Union or it's one standard. UK also has theirs. You have e-invoicing dealing with, XML and EPICs. It all depends on where you are in the world and what's been essentially gathered amongst the major players in that particular industry. Usually is what you end up seeing. So make sure you're inside and you're not ignoring the EDI standards and compliances that are needed. Make sure that you have updates on a regular basis. Don't be sitting on a system that's 30, 40 years old and hasn't had a dictionary update in 20 years, or can't do newer protocols. It's going to be an issue. Like, you're now reliant on a system that just can't handle it. Number 4 is choosing the wrong EDI provider. As being an organization that has worked with a lot of different of the EDI providers, a lot of the different platforms, research, talk to, you can go to our Discord server and you can see, we have almost 900 members, or we're at 900 members, somewhere in there. People that are talking about all the different products that are out there, all the different services. And these are people across the world talking about things that they're seeing and that they're running across. Well, some EDI providers that are out there, and here's the loose leaf thing that we talk about is not all EDI providers, EDI solution, managed services all fall into those different realms, okay? Everybody looks at things differently. So just because somebody calls themselves an EDI provider, what does that mean? What are they doing? What are they doing for you? Are they just giving you a platform and saying good luck? Are they giving you a managed service? And this is what they call a managed service. Again, it's just a platform and good luck. You're going to talk to the trading partners. You are going to need to have some EDI knowledge. You are going to need to be all those things. Are they what they call an EDI solution provider, where they're giving you, again, another platform, but yet you have to do the mapping, you have to set up the trading partners, you have to do all those things? Ask them to define what it means when they say EDI provider, EDI managed service, EDI solution provider, all of these different terms. Ask them in plain terms, what does that mean? What do you give me? What do I need to bring to the table? Do I need to have somebody that knows EDI? Do I need to have somebody that's going to interact with my trading partners? Do I need to have somebody that's going to set up my maps, set up my trading partners, do the full project management, also handle my integration? Need a subject matter expert when it comes to my ERP, WMS, TMS? Have these things defined as to what you're getting and what you're not getting, or what you need to make up for. If you don't do that, don't just go off of the term that they're throwing at you, because a lot of these companies have sales teams that are doing this. And the sales team is just, hey, I just need to get it sold. And then I need to upsell you. And then, hey, you're just getting into my platform? Oh, you haven't even started using it yet? Let me tell you, let me find out, what is your company doing? What are your goals in 2 years, 5 years? You know why they're doing that? They want to sell you more product. That's what they're doing. So find out where they fall into that spectrum or that scope so that you know what you have to bring to the table. And choosing that wrong EDI provider or EDI solution or EDI software or whatever it may be could limit your flexibility, your transparency, and the expert support that you're getting. Because what if you need to bring that to the table? So you're wanting to pick a partner, not just pick a vendor. Look for that transparent pricing, flexible contract terms, and responsive support. Ensure that provider supports all the file formats that you're going to need to do, all of your trading partners, all of the communications that you're going to need to do, so that you're not limited in your growth and there's no hidden fees that all of a sudden come about. You need that transparency. You need that partnership. You need that person that's going to be behind you to help you grow. If you don't have it, you're going to have problems. These are things that we keep running into when we're talking to different companies. And these are things that we're trying at EDI Support LLC to cover across the board, whether you're a startup or you're worth $1 trillion as far as an entity. If you're having problems with EDI, API, integrations, moving data, reach out. I can tell you what we offer and what we do and what we don't do. I will lay it all out in easy to learn and easy understandable, and give you transparency in pricing. Another thing, lack of real-time monitoring and error handling. Too many people, too many companies are reactive and not proactive. They're running into issues. They're finding things that are coming up after the fact. Again, that's a part of maybe the validation. You don't want data flowing over to your trading partner if there's information that's missing and should be filled out, especially if it's mandatory information. Now, if it's conditional or optional, it can get a little tricky because you need to set up those values to look for certain other information. So maybe a field or a requirement isn't needed unless you have X, Y, and Z taken care of. That gets a little bit trickier, but you should do your best effort to limit that as much as possible through validation. But also, you should be getting those error emails, notified when documents are received or when documents are sent or when communication failures happen. All of those things that you're not having to really lay eyes on the EDI platform, service, solution, whatever it may be. If it's sending you a Teams message, a Slack notification, an email, any of those type of things, you should have that built into your system. Your system should really be at real time. So when you send an invoice or you update an invoice in your ERP system and it gets picked up by your EDI solution, when do you find out about it? It shouldn't be 24 hours later that communication failed or that those invoices didn't get processed, or they did get processed, but they're in limbo because you didn't get any 997s back. Where's the notification? Where's the understanding? You need it to be as soon as possible, because here's the big thing. And again, I lead a lot of this to retail, but it can fall in all different industries. In the retail space, you want to get paid when your invoices are sent. Well, if your invoices are not properly processed and there's an error and you don't find out for 24 hours, you've actually just extended your terms by 24 hours. because your trading partner is not going to pay you a release payment until you fall inside of those terms, and your invoice has to be successfully received in their system to be processed for payment. So I find a lot of people that have, oh, we have 30-day terms. Well, that's great. That ticker doesn't start until the trading partner acknowledges that they've received it into their system for processing, and they've done that successfully. So if it takes you a week, well, now you're not 30 days, you're actually 45 or 44, however you want to look at it, which is going to cause a lot of headaches with cash flow and all of those things. That's just one example, but it's a common example. It's a common thing, and it's a common theme that we run across and that we see on a regular basis. So monitor those, be proactive with your actual monitoring. It's leading to unnoticed failed transactions that disrupt supply chain operations. A lot of companies are reliant on that. A lot of these companies that are reliant on a provider, you need somebody that's checking in the system all the time. I hope this information helps you out. I hope you start to check out our channel again and start watching these, because I'm going to start doing this again on a regular basis every Wednesday. As long as we have details and data and things that are going on and I'm not sick or any of that kind of stuff, I'm going to be hopping in here on LinkedIn Live. I appreciate everybody that joins in, watches these videos, likes our channel, provides comments, checks out our Discord server, checks out and joins and follows me and the EDI Support LLC team. Anything that we can do to help you in EDI integrations, API, don't hesitate to reach out. Stay warm out there. Again, this is Jim Gonzalez. I appreciate you, and have a great day.